First contact. The night sky erupted in a blaze of light as the alien scout ship tore through Earth's atmosphere. Zira, the young Calvarian pilot, frantically worked the controls, her four-fingered hands dancing across the luminescent panels. Warning signals blazed through the cockpit as the ship hurtled towards the ground. Come on, Zira muttered, her large, violet eyes wide with concentration. The lush green landscape of the planet below rushed up to meet her. With a final, desperate maneuver, she managed to level the ship slightly before it plowed into a dense forest, carving a deep furrow through the trees. Miles away, Jake Davidson jolted awake in his small cabin. The 28-year-old forest ranger had been dozing in his chair, feet propped up on the porch railing. He blinked, wondering if he'd dreamed the thunderous roar that had disturbed his peace. Then he saw the column of smoke rising in the distance. "What the hell?" Jake muttered, grabbing his gear and hustling to his old pickup truck. Whatever had happened, it was deep in his sector of the national park. As he drove along the bumpy dirt roads, Jake's mind raced with possibilities. A plane crash, a meteor. After parking as close as he could get, Jake hiked through the woods, following the trail of broken trees. The acrid smell of smoke and something else, an odd chemical odor he couldn't place, filled the air. As he pushed through a final wall of foliage, Jake froze, his jaw dropping open. Before him lay a gleaming silver craft, unlike any aircraft he'd ever seen. Its sleek, organic curves reminded him of a manta ray. Steam hissed from rents in its hull, and a strange, pulsing light emanated from what he assumed was the cockpit. "This is impossible," Jake whispered, his hand instinctively going to the radio at his belt. But before he could call this in, movement caught his eye. A hatch on the side of the craft slid open with a pneumatic hiss. Jake's heart pounded as a figure emerged. It was humanoid, but unmistakably alien. Slender and graceful, with bluish-purple skin that seemed to shimmer in the dappled sunlight. Its head was slightly larger than a human's, with no visible hair and those enormous, mesmerizing violet eyes. The alien, Jake realized it was feminine in appearance, stumbled as it exited the craft. Without thinking, he rushed forward to help. The alien's eyes locked onto him, a mix of fear and curiosity evident in her gaze. "It's okay," Jake said softly, holding up his hands in what he hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "I'm not going to hurt you." The alien tilted her head, studying him intently. Then, to Jake's utter astonishment, she spoke. Her voice was melodious, with an accent he couldn't place. "Your epidermis, it's so varied," she said, reaching out a slender hand towards Jake's exposed forearm. "And what is this?" She tugged gently at the sleeve of his ranger uniform. Jake blinked, momentarily at a loss for words. Of all the things he'd expected from first contact with an alien species, a fascination with his skin and clothes hadn't been on the list. "Ah, that's my uniform," he managed to say. "I'm Jake. I'm a forest ranger. It's my job to protect this area." The alien's eyes widened with interest. "Protect? From what? Are there dangerous creatures here?" She glanced around nervously. Jake couldn't help but chuckle. No. Well, nothing too dangerous. I mostly make sure people don't litter or start fires, and I help lost hikers." The alien nodded, though Jake wasn't sure she fully understood. "I am Zira," she said, placing a hand on her chest. "I come from a world very different from this. Your planet is so green." She gestured at the forest around them with a look of wonder. Jake's mind was reeling. He was talking to an actual alien, one who seemed more interested in his clothes than in conquering the planet. It was surreal. "Zira," he repeated, testing out the name. "That's a beautiful name. Are you okay?" That looked like a pretty rough landing. Zira's face fell slightly. "My ship is damaged. I was on a scouting mission when I encountered an unexpected solar flare. It disrupted my navigation systems." She looked back at the smoking craft. "I don't think I can repair it alone." Jake ran a hand through his hair, his mind racing. He knew he should report this, call in the authorities. But something about Zira's openness, her curiosity, made him hesitate. He had a feeling that if he made that call, she'd end up in some government facility, poked and prodded by scientists. "Listen," he said, making a split-second decision that he knew might change his life forever. "I think I can help you. But we need to hide your ship. If anyone else sees it, things could get complicated." Zira tilted her head again, studying Jake's face. After a moment, she nodded. "I sense you are trustworthy, Jake the Forest Ranger. I will accept your help." As they began to work on concealing the ship with branches and leaves, Zira's questions came rapid fire. "Why is your skin that color? Do all humans look like you? What is the purpose of those coverings on your body?" Jake found himself laughing as he tried to keep up with her inquiries. "Slow down, Zira. One question at a time, and maybe we can trade. I answer one of yours, you answer one of mine." Zira's eyes lit up at the suggestion. An exchange of knowledge. Yes, this is acceptable. As they worked and talked, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that his life had just veered into uncharted territory. But looking at Zira's eager, open face, he knew he wouldn't have it any other way. Little did either of them know that this chance encounter would set in motion a chain of events that would not only change their lives, but potentially the fate of two worlds. Cosmic secrets and earthly perils. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows through the forest, Jake and Zira huddled in his small cabin. The alien's ship was now hidden under a canopy of branches and leaves, invisible to all but the most keen-eyed observer. Jake's mind was still reeling from the day's events, but he couldn't deny the thrill of excitement coursing through him. "So, Zira," Jake began, setting down 2 steaming mugs of coffee on the rough-hewn table, "you mentioned you were on a scouting mission. Care to elaborate on that?" Zira's violet eyes flickered with emotion Jake couldn't quite read. She wrapped her slender, 4-fingered hands around the mug, seemingly enjoying the warmth. "My people, the Kelvarians, have been observing Earth for some time," she said, her melodious voice tinged with hesitation. "We've detected anomalies, energy signatures unlike anything we've encountered before." Jake leaned forward, intrigued. "What kind of anomalies?" Zira's gaze met his, and suddenly Jake felt as if he was staring into the depths of the cosmos itself. "Your planet harbors a power, Jake. A power that could either save the galaxy or destroy it." The weight of her words hung in the air between them. Jake's coffee lay forgotten as he processed this information. "Are you saying Earth is special? That we have some kind of cosmic importance?" Zira nodded solemnly. "More than you know. But we're not the only ones who've noticed. There are others, less benevolent races who seek to harness this power for themselves." A chill ran down Jake's spine. "So your mission was to make contact, to warn you." Zira's voice dropped to a whisper. "But I never expected to crash land, or to meet someone like you." Their eyes locked, and for a moment, Jake felt a connection that transcended species. But the moment was shattered by a sudden piercing noise from outside. Jake jumped to his feet. "Helicopters," he muttered, peering out the window. In the distance, he could see searchlights sweeping the forest. "They must have detected your ship entering the atmosphere." Panic flashed across Zira's alien features. "If they find me." "They won't," Jake said with a determination that surprised even him. "I promise." Acting quickly, Jake grabbed a backpack and began stuffing it with supplies. "We need to move. I know these woods better than anyone. I can keep you hidden." Zira stood, her life form radiating both fear and resolve. "But you're alive here. Won't you be in trouble for helping me?" Jake paused, the weight of his decision settling on his shoulders. He thought about his quiet life as a ranger, the simplicity of his days. Then he looked at Zira, this incredible being from beyond the stars, and knew there was no other choice. "Some things are more important than playing it safe," he said with a wry smile. "Besides, apparently Earth's fate is at stake. Can't let you handle that alone, can I?" A look of gratitude washed over Zira's face. She reached out, placing her hand on Jake's arm. The touch sent a jolt through him, like static electricity but warmer, more alive. "Thank you, Jake," she said softly. "I believe the universe brought us together for a reason." As they slipped out the back door of the cabin, melting into the shadows of the forest, Jake couldn't help but feel that his life had been building to this moment. The thrill of adventure, the weight of responsibility, and the undeniable pull he felt towards this alien visitor all mixed together, propelling him forward into the unknown. Little did they know that their journey was about to take an even more unexpected turn. For deep in the forest, hidden from both human and alien eyes, lay an ancient secret that would challenge everything they thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. As they moved silently through the underbrush, Jake's ranger training kicking in, Zira suddenly stopped. Her eyes grew wide, and she turned to Jake with a look of awe and fear. "Jake," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I can feel it. The power. It's here. In these very woods." Jake's heart raced. What had he gotten himself into? But as he looked at Zira, saw the mix of wonder and determination in her eyes, he knew there was no turning back. Whatever cosmic secret lay hidden in these familiar woods, whatever galactic drama was unfolding around them, they were in it together. Hand in hand, human and alien, they pressed deeper into the forest, the sound of helicopters fading behind them as they moved towards a destiny neither of them could have imagined. The adventure was only beginning, and the fate of two worlds now rested in their hands. Quantum Nexus. The forest pulsed with an otherworldly energy as Jake and Zira pushed deeper into its heart. Sweat beaded on Jake's brow, his ranger instincts on high alert. Beside him, Zira's alien skin shimmered with an ethereal glow, her large violet eyes scanning the environment with a mix of wonder and apprehension. "We're getting close," Zira whispered, her melodious voice tinged with excitement. "The energy signatures are off the charts. I've never encountered anything like this before." Jake nodded, his mind racing. "What exactly are we looking for, Zira? Some kind of alien artifact?" Zira's gaze met his, and Jake felt that familiar jolt of connection. Not alien, Jake. Something far more ancient. Something that predates both our civilizations. As if on cue, the forest canopy parted, revealing a clearing bathed in moonlight. At its center stood a structure that defied explanation. Geometric shapes of impossible complexity twisted and folded in on themselves, creating a monument that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the human mind could comprehend. By the cosmic winds, Zira breathed, her eyes wide with awe. "It's a quantum nexus." Jake stared, his brain striving to process what he was seeing. "A what now?" "A junction point between realities," Zira explained, her voice hushed with reverence. "A place where the fabric of the universe is thin, allowing for the manipulation of cosmic energies on an unimaginable scale." As they approached the structure, Jake felt a tingling sensation across his skin. The air around them seemed to shimmer and distort, as if reality itself was bending. "This is what my people detected," Zira continued, reaching out to touch the surface of the nexus. Her hand passed through it as if it were made of smoke. "This is why Earth is so important. Whoever controls this nexus could reshape the very foundations of existence." Jake's mind reeled at the implications. But why is it here, on Earth? Zira turned to him, her alien features softening with a look that was almost affectionate. "That's the question, isn't it? Perhaps your planet isn't as ordinary as you've been led to believe." Suddenly, a beam of light cut through the clearing. The sound of helicopter rotors filled the air, growing louder by the second. "They found us," Jake hissed, grabbing Zira's hand. "We need tow." But before he could finish, the quantum nexus pulsed with blinding light. Jake felt a sensation of weightlessness, as if he were being pulled apart at the atomic level. Zira's grip on his hand tightened, anchoring him in the chaos. In a flash, the forest vanished. Jake blinked, trying to orient himself in a landscape that defied description. Fractals of impossible colors spiraled around them, and equations that held the secrets of the universe danced across his vision. "Where are we?" he managed to gasp, his voice sounding strange and distant. Zira's eyes were wide with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "We're inside the Nexus, Jake, between realities. No human has ever been here before." As they floated in this sea of cosmic data, images began to form around them. Jake saw glimpses of other worlds, of civilizations beyond imagination. He saw the rise and fall of empires that spanned galaxies, and the birth and death of stars. But among these grand cosmic visions, he also saw something unexpected. Flashes of his own life, intertwined with Zira's. Moments that hadn't happened yet. A future where human and alien worked together, unlocking the secrets of the universe. "Zira," he breathed, "are you seeing this?" She nodded, her alien features alight with wonder. "The Nexus is showing us possibilities, Jake, potential futures." As they watched, a dark shadow began to creep across the visions. Jake saw worlds burning, civilizations crumbling. At the center of it all, a sinister force that seemed to devour light itself. "The Void Collective," Zira whispered, her voice filled with dread. "The enemy my people feared. They're coming, Jake. For Earth, for the Nexus." The images swirled faster, becoming a dizzying maelstrom of information. Jake felt his consciousness expanding, taking in knowledge that no human was meant to possess. It was overwhelming, terrifying, and exhilarating all at once. Just when he thought his mind would shatter under the weight of cosmic truth, he felt Zira's hand on his face. Her touch grounded him, pulling him back from the brink. "Focus on me, Jake," she said, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We need to get back. We have to warn your people." With a monumental effort, Jake concentrated on Zira's face, on the connection between them that seemed to transcend space and time. The whirlwind of cosmic data began to slow, and he felt a pulling sensation. In another flash of light, they were back in the forest clearing. The quantum nexus pulsed once more, then fell silent. In the distance, they could hear voices and see flashlights sweeping the trees. Jake looked at Zira, his mind still reeling from what he'd experienced. "What do we do now?" Zira's eyes met his, filled with determination and something else, something deeper. "We fight, Jake. For your world, for mine, for the future we saw, together." As they stood there, hand in hand before the Nexus, Jake knew that nothing would ever be the same. The fate of the universe rested on their shoulders, and the greatest adventure of all was just beginning. The sound of approaching footsteps echoed through the clearing. Whatever came next, Jake and Zira would face it united, guardians of a cosmic secret that could reshape reality itself. Galactic uprising. The forest erupted into chaos as government agents burst into the clearing, weapons drawn. Jake instinctively stepped in front of Zira, his heart pounding. But before anyone could speak, the quantum nexus pulsed again, enveloping them all in a blinding light. When the light faded, Jake blinked in astonishment. They were no longer in the forest, but in what appeared to be a high-tech command center. Holographic displays flickered around them, showing star maps and real-time data streams. "Welcome to Sanctuary," came a familiar voice. Jake turned to see Dr. Elena Rodriguez, his old college professor, stepping out from behind a console. "I apologize for the abrupt extraction, but time is of the essence." Jake's mind reeled. "Dr. Rodriguez? What? How?" The scientist smiled wryly. "I'm not just a physics professor, Jake. I'm part of a secret global organization called the Terran Guardians. We've been protecting Earth from extraterrestrial threats for centuries." Zira stepped forward, her alien features a mix of curiosity and caution. "You know about the Void Collective?" Dr. Rodriguez nodded grimly. "We've been monitoring their approach, but we never expected to find a quantum nexus on Earth. Your arrival, Zira, and your connection with Jake has changed everything." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the facility. A massive holographic display sprang to life, showing a fleet of ominous black ships entering the solar system. "The Void Collective," Zira whispered, her voice tinged with fear. "They're here." Dr. Rodriguez turned to Jake and Zira, her eyes blazing with determination. "This is where you come in. The bond you two formed in the Nexus. It's unprecedented. Human and alien, united by cosmic forces. You may be our only hope against the collective." Jake felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He looked at Zira, seeing the same mix of fear and resolve in her alien eyes. "What do we need to do?" "We need to amplify the power of the quantum nexus," Dr. Rodriguez explained, leading them to a chamber filled with pulsing energy conduits. "With your unique connection, you might be able to create a quantum shield around Earth, protecting us from the Void Collective's weapons." As Jake and Zira stepped onto a raised platform, the chamber hummed with power. They clasped hands, and immediately Jake felt that familiar surge of cosmic energy flowing between them. "Focus on your bond," Dr. Rodriguez instructed. "Visualize the shield forming around the planet." Jake closed his eyes, concentrating on the connection he felt with Zira. He saw flashes of their shared experiences, the moments in the forest, the visions in the Nexus. He felt Zira's alien consciousness intertwining with his own, creating something entirely new. The chamber erupted with blinding light as tendrils of energy streamed from their joined hands. On the holographic displays, a shimmering barrier began to form around the Earth. But the Void Collective wasn't going to give up easily. Their ships unleashed a barrage of dark energy weapons, pummeling the nascent shield. Jake gritted his teeth, feeling the strain of maintaining the quantum connection. Beside him, Zira's alien form trembled with the effort. "It's not enough," Dr. Rodriguez shouted over the din of alarms. "We need more power." In that moment, Jake had an epiphany. He turned to Zira, their eyes locking in silent understanding. Together, they reached out with their minds, not just to each other, but to the quantum nexus itself. Suddenly, Jake felt his consciousness expanding exponentially. He saw the vast tapestry of the universe, the interconnectedness of all things. And he realized that the power they needed wasn't just in them or in the Nexus. It was everywhere. With a surge of will, Jake and Zira channeled the cosmic energy flowing through all of reality. The quantum shield around Earth flared with impossible brightness, repelling the Void Collective's attacks with ease. The enemy ships, faced with this unprecedented defense, began to retreat. Cheers erupted throughout the sanctuary facility as the holographic displays showed the Void Collective fleeing the solar system. As the energy subsided, Jake and Zira collapsed into each other's arms, exhausted but triumphant. Dr. Rodriguez approached them, her face a mix of awe and excitement. "You did it," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "But more than that, you've opened up possibilities we never dreamed of. The way you tapped into the cosmic energy, it could revolutionize our understanding of the universe." Jake looked at Zira, seeing his own amazement reflected in her alien eyes. "So what happens now?" he asked. Dr. Rodriguez smiled. "Now we prepare. The Void Collective will be back, and Earth will need its guardians, both human and alien." She gestured to the facility around them. "Welcome to the front lines of a galactic uprising." As Jake and Zira stood there hand in hand, they knew that this was just the beginning. They had unlocked cosmic powers beyond imagination, forged a bond that transcended species, and taken the first steps in humanity's journey to the stars. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but also dangers beyond comprehension. But together, as unlikely allies united by cosmic forces, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the sanctuary buzzed with activity around them, Jake and Zira shared a look of determination. The next chapter of their cosmic adventure was about to begin, and the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy hung in the balance. Cosmic evolution. The sanctuary hummed with newfound energy as Jake and Zira stood before a gathered assembly of Earth's greatest minds and secret defenders. Dr. Rodriguez addressed the crowd, her voice resonating with urgency and hope. "What we witnessed today is nothing short of evolutionary leap for humanity," she declared. "Jake and Zira's quantum bond has unlocked potential we never knew existed within us." As if on cue, Jake felt a tingling sensation throughout his body. He looked down to see faint lines of energy coursing beneath his skin, pulsing in sync with his heartbeat. Beside him, Zira's alien form shimmered with an otherworldly glow. The quantum nexus didn't just give us a defense against the Void Collective, Jake realized, his voice filled with awe. "It's changing us." Zira nodded, her large eyes wide with understanding. "We've become living conduits of cosmic energy, the next stage in both our species' evolution." Excited murmurs rippled through the crowd. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, her face a mix of scientific curiosity and concern. "We need to understand the full extent of these changes. Jake, Zira, would you be willing to undergo some tests?" Before they could answer, alarms blared throughout the facility. Holographic screens flickered to life, showing a terrifying sight. The Void Collective hadn't retreated, they had regrouped. And now, a massive portal was opening at the edge of the solar system. "By the cosmic winds," Zira gasped. "They're calling for reinforcements." Jake felt a surge of determination. He turned to Dr. Rodriguez, his eyes blazing with newfound power. "There's no time for tests. We need to take the fight to them." "But how?" Dr. Rodriguez asked, her voice tinged with desperation. "Our defenses are barely holding as it is." Jake and Zira shared a look of silent understanding. In that moment, they both knew what had to be done. "The Nexus," they said in unison. Without waiting for approval, Jake and Zira joined hands. The cosmic energy within them surged, creating a swirling vortex of power. In a flash of light, they vanished from the sanctuary, reappearing instantly in the forest clearing where their journey began. The quantum nexus pulsed with anticipation as they approached. Jake and Zira placed their hands on its surface, feeling the boundaries between realities blur. "What we're about to do has never been attempted," Zira warned, her voice a mix of excitement and fear. Jake squeezed a hand reassuringly. "Together, we can do anything." As one, they pushed their consciousness into the nexus. The world around them dissolved into a kaleidoscope of cosmic energies and infinite possibilities. They saw the Void Collective's armada emerging from the portal, a dark swarm threatening to engulf the galaxy. But they also saw something else, countless alternate realities, each with its own Earth, its own defenders. With a shared thought, Jake and Zira reached out across the multiverse. They touched the minds of their alternate selves, of billions of Jakes and Ziras who had formed the same cosmic bond. "We are not alone," Jake realized, his voice echoing across dimensions. "We never were." In a symphony of thought and will, they united the cosmic power of countless realities. The quantum nexus flared with blinding light, visible from space as a beacon of hope. Streams of energy poured from the nexus, coalescing into humanoid forms. An army of light, composed of every possible version of themselves, ready to defend not just one Earth, but all of creation. The Void Collective's forces faltered in the face of this unprecedented display of cosmic unity. Their dark ships were engulfed by waves of multiversal energy, erased from existence. As the last of the invaders vanished, Jake and Zira found themselves back in the forest clearing, the quantum nexus pulsing softly before them. They looked at each other, forever changed by the experience. "We did it," Jake breathed, his voice filled with wonder. "We saved everything." Zira nodded, her alien features softened by a very human smile. "And we've only just begun to understand our true potential." As they stood there, hand in hand, they knew that this was more than just a victory. It was the dawn of a new age, for humanity, for the Calvarians, and for the entire cosmos. The boundaries between species, between realities, had been forever blurred. And in that blurring, a new form of life had emerged, one that spanned the multiverse itself. Jake and Zira shared a look of determination and excitement. Their cosmic evolution had opened up infinite possibilities, and their greatest adventures still lay ahead. As they prepared to return to the sanctuary to share their discoveries with the world, they both knew one thing for certain: the universe would never be the same again. And neither would they.